All right, so Happy New Year Day to everyone tuning in to this. Uh, I started this session of Purple Haze last night, or I guess earlier this morning, technically speaking, and now I'm looking to continue where we left off. Before I go any further with that, though, I do need to express my thanks to someone that commented on my first playthrough session video with a couple rules mistakes that I made, and specifically, um, it's Thomas Consolve 1465. If you're watching now, thank you. But he commented on my video and noticed that at the 29-minute mark, I use this ability from my scout called pathfinding that says before you roll a threat die. You probably can't read that, but it says before you roll a threat die, um, when I'm marching into terrain, I can spend 30 minutes of time and subtract what I thought said stamina by 2, but it was the threat by 2. And therefore, I already updated the track to what it should have been, and what it should be now. And it does put my stamina at 0. I did look, and it's not in the rule book, and saw that it's not until you try to go below 0 that you have issues. So going to 0 exactly isn't an issue yet with stamina. It's something we're going to have to resolve later. However, it actually kind of worked out in a way, because being in the green area of the threat helped a little bit with the setup of this combat that we're about to start, because again, there's obviously spoilers in this, so just want to say that before I get too much further. Oops. Of course, I'm never perfectly set up. Ugh. Someday everything will be exactly how I want it. Okay, what I wanted to show you is yesterday when I set this combat up, I was following the directions assuming I was in the yellow threat part of the threat track, which adds one of these tokens, and then also turns this yellow, what would have been like a basic enemy, into a stronger enemy. But that's not the case. We are in green. So, and also this would, in yellow, it says we only start at 3 initiative. So in green, we have more initiative, which is a higher initiative, which is good. This yellow star is just a regular unit now. And we don't have to add an extra star to this, to this track, which I actually misunderstood as well. In fact, because we still get one. If we were in yellow, there would have been an additional one, and I misread that. Anyway, point is, this is all good. The other mistake I made, though, that Thomas noted, was that I actually don't have I'm not supposed to have a claymore mine in this scenario, which is true. The mission setup doesn't say that I get a claymore. The reason why I did use a claymore, though, is in the mission. This is where I'm not sure if this was a mistake in the mission guide or but the mission guide specifically says use a claymore mine before combat. I don't think it normally would say that. I don't think it just says that for no reason. So I'm confused why the mission booklet then at the start of this scenario says that you can use a claymore mine, even though the setup for this mission specifically doesn't give you a claymore mine. And this is mission 1. So maybe you actually could come across a claymore mine within the mission itself, and that's why that's in the rule book or in the mission guide. But otherwise, maybe it is just kind of a mistake in the setup for that specific for this combat. But that's why I didn't think much of it when I first started this combat. Point being, I don't have a claymore, and what that means is now everyone is actually alive in this front row for the VC. In the end of my first playthrough, or part one of my playthrough, I used the claymore thinking I had it, and actually eliminated the two weaker guys, which sadly was not actually supposed to happen. So I put them back on the combat board, and now we'll just get right into it. In short, combat's relatively straightforward. Basically, whoever side this initiative counter is on is the side that gets to activate. So right now it's on the green side, or the Marine side, and that means the Marines get to activate, which means I get to choose any of my Marines to do an activation. And when you do an activation, you have the opportunity to do up to 2 different orders. And those orders are fire, specialist skill, move, take cover, or idle, or do nothing, essentially, is what idle is. Regardless, you have to use at least 3 points of initiative. So basically, you can't absolutely do nothing. But with that said, I'm already thinking, okay, I want to try and weaken the VC as much as possible. All of my troops are healthy. They're in, since it's the very start, they're in pretty optimal defensive positions. So there's no real need to move anyone around, I guess is why I'm saying that. And in terms of who to target or who to use for the initial attack, I'm thinking my infantryman who has the M60 machine gun here. That's the most powerful weapon. Well, I do have this grenade launcher, which I guess is also nothing to mess around with. So, frankly, I'm not necessarily. Frankly, I'm not 100% sure which of the 2 weapons makes more sense to start off with. But I'm not going to. And I guess maybe the one downside about the M60 is that I do only have 1 ammo token for the M60. So, but yeah, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to double check real quick too to make sure I'm only supposed to have 1 clip of ammo for the M60. 1 M60 ammo, 3 M16, 1 2-load M60 ammo. Is that 2-load then? Oh, okay. Sorry. So I do have 2 loads of it. Again, I think that's right. 4, 5. Because then he actually has too much weight on him, so he shouldn't be able to carry the grenade. Although he has stamina, which says take 1 ammo at no cost. But then the rules also say the skills of the infantrymen don't apply. So I'm already getting too much in the weeds. I'm just going to assume he can't take the grenade and then give it to the paparazzi guy. Just because I don't want him using the grenade right now anyway, so it doesn't really matter to me too much. Okay, so with that said, we'll just have him go first. And I have the flow chart over here next to me for how a combat activation works. And the very first part says fire order, choose the weapon, pay the ammo cost. Okay, so in the case of the infantryman here, I choose, of course, his M60 machine gun, pay the ammo cost. Not all weapons do need to use an ammo token, but I do for this M60 machine gun. So a lot of these tokens are double-sided. So this is like the initial side, and then to show that it's been used once, I just flip it like that. In the upper right corner, you can see how it has the arrows to show that it has the you can flip this once, and then the next time I use it, it has to be discarded for the rest of the game, which means the M60 simply would not be able to shoot. It's out of ammo. But did that part, then target. Choose which enemy to target. Okay. So I am going to... Oh, crap. I'm already realizing my mistake with... with how I... did things here. So I'm going to do a little flipsy-loopsy here because I'm realizing things now that I blame on just not having played the game before. Well, I don't know if I want that either. Yeah, sorry. Nope, that's not good either. Basically, I wanted to be two rows away from this guy with the machine gun. And when he's right there, he's only one row. You'd ignore it. This doesn't count as a row. This is used to mark smoke counters. So, or first, yeah, smoke grenades, smoke counters. Because if he's right, when he's only one row away, the attack card that his weapon card does not give him the burst ability. And if the burst ability basically allows a weapon to deal damage to adjacent enemies, and obviously I would love to be able to take out the not only damage the this guy right here, but also the VC next to him. With all that dinking around, I'm just going to go back to how it really initially was. I don't think this is optimal gameplay. That's fine. It is what it is. My first time playing the game. So we'll just do it as is. He's going to attack this VC, which is basically in more of an elite VC unit, because they otherwise would roll. They're rolling 2 white die. A normal VC only contributes 1 white die to the attack pool. So I want to try to take out a stronger guy, or I prioritize, of course, the stronger VC, so when they attack me, their attack's, of course, not going to be as strong. So I picked my target, determine the number of focus, strike, and crit dice to roll based on range, line of sight penalties, the fire mode, specialist skills, and wounds. Okay, so that's a lot. But the range... so the base number of the focus or purple die for an attack action is 2. However, a lot of the weapon cards will automatically give you a bonus focus die if there's a purple. So this is kind of abstracts the range of the weapon. So basically, this M60 can shoot up to 5 rows away, and the purple triangle, so roll if the enemy's 1, 2, or 3 rows away, the purple triangle says you get to add a focus die to the die pool. So since it's only the enemy's just 1 row away, I'm adding 1 focus or purple die to the die pool. So then we look at this part of the weapon, which says how many of the white die we're rolling, which is 8. So I add those to the die. 8 white dice, or what are called strike dice in this game. I add 8 of those to the die pool. And then we have the 2 yellow crit dice that we get to add to the die pool. So yeah, those. And then I think I am done with adding die to the die pool. There's no line of sight penalty. Sometimes if the range goes through another enemy or one of your Marines or one of the enemy tokens, then there's a line of sight penalty, or through the smoke. But that's not the case here. And yeah, we just go into rolling the die. So looking for those matches, and I will again explain how the matches work once I roll here. Okay, so let's start with the purple. So I have matching 3s for purple, and then we'll line up the rest. Again, the rule book doesn't specifically say to handle lining up the die this way, but it does work out quite well. Okay, so there. Now we'll go through. So the ones provide me 3 successes. Then I have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's the yellow matches, each with the purple 3s. That's a total of 4 right there. So that was a really nice combo. And then 10, 11, 12. We'll count that one more time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I think that's what I said the first time. And this was overkill then, because the other part about the weapon, or the M60 specifically, is it says if I am shooting at a range that's either just a regular purple triangle or the purple triangle with the burst symbol, which basically means if I'm shooting from row 1 to row 3, I just immediately remove up to 3 soft cover tokens from who I'm shooting at, which is great because the VC that I'm targeting happens to have exactly 3 soft cover tokens that I otherwise would have to absorb with my hits. So those just go away before I even apply the 12 hits. And this is why I wanted to use the M60 for a burst attack, and why I knew that it would be kind of overkill, and I did it anyway. So is what it is. Wonder was really excited and didn't think too much and just like blasted at this VC. It was his first time finally getting to shoot his gun, so he just went for it. Anyway, that means that there was only 6 health that 6 hits worth of damage I needed to do in order to defeat that VC. I ended up with 12 total hits, so more than enough. And that means the VC is eliminated. It goes over here, where you track basically the casualties of the VC during the combat. And the flow chart here does say if greater than 50% of the starting enemies are now eliminated, check for enemy retreat on the next enemy activation. So essentially, there's this built-in mechanism that if you start wiping out a lot of the VC, their morale might break and they might just flee. The rules also say you only check this once. So if you roll this die for basically a morale check for the VC and they pass it, they're committed to staying the rest of the fight, even if they continue losing more VC. So I thought that was kind of a cool little mechanism. Seemed kind of thematic. Like that group didn't go after losing over half their guys. They're committed. They're willing to go to the last man, which I don't know. That's kind of interesting. So that's what's called the damage part of the process, and now we're on to the initiative, which says move the initiative marker toward enemy side by the initiative cost of the 2 orders. Oh shoot! So Yeah, so technically I do have a second order. Well, the weapon that I just shot definitely caused, or the M60 specifically costs 6 initiative. So this goes down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now it's on the red, the VC side. So they're definitely going to have the next activation. But I do technically get another order if I wanted one. It just can't be a specialist, and it can't be specialist. So the options are move, uh, take cover, or idle. And again, my infantry man wonder is in hard cover right now, which is a good spot to be in. So moving doesn't really make sense. And then taking cover would allow him to recover his soft cover if he had lost any, which he has not. So there's no need to do that. So he essentially will just be idling for his second order. And now we do go to the enemy's turn. So for the VC, I do have to flip his token on the board to show that he's activated, because you can only activate a Marine typically once per combat. All right, so now I will. What am I trying to say? Sorry. Do the VC's turn, and for the VC, I'll follow the flowchart over here. Enemy tactics. That's enemy tactics markers on the bottom space. Flip and resolve it. Then move any markers higher on the track down 1 space. So that's what this represents. So I flip that to see what it says. And it says aimed shot, random Marine. Ooh, I'm not sure. I am going to have to do a quick check for what that specifically entails. If that's like a shot before. Select a random Marine, roll 2 focus, 4 strike, and 1 crit dice. Each match is okay, so it's just like kind of like a sniper maybe off in the background. That's getting this kind of quick shot off. Not great, but we'll do what it says to do, which is first randomly determine a Marine. So we have 6 Marines. Each are assigned a die roll number, so 4. And 4 happens to be our actually pretty valuable so far scout. So it's unfortunate that he's going to be taking this attack, but... And then it says it's 2 focus, again, the purple die, 4 strike, or the white die, and 1 crit. Which is yellow die. No. Okay. We'll roll these. Let's hope for no... We don't want any matches here. They basically score the same way the Marines do in terms of how the dice work. Okay, so 1... Oh, wait, sorry. Do the purples. So 1, 2, and 3 are the purples. And they have a 1, 2, a 5. Oh, this was a 5. Definitely, that was a 5. So, could have been worse, okay? This will actually be okay. So we have nothing for 1. 1 damage for this 2. 2 damage for this 3 because it's a crit that's matching. And then nothing for the 5 or 6. So only 3 total hits scored here, which really isn't that bad, because what ends up happening is the scout did have 2 points of soft cover to absorb damage, so those go away. And then the scout also was on top of hard cover, which absorbs 1 damage. So they actually didn't take any wounds or damage tokens. So it worked out, but now, of course, his soft cover's gone. All right, so back to the flow chart for the remainder of what the enemy is supposed to do here. Draw a random enemy combat marker, move enemies, and add new tactic markers if required. So now we draw enemy. Oh, I think once these get used, they're put off to the side, I want to say. And then we draw one of these. These are like their action tokens. So it tells you how many initiative they're going to be spending, which is 5, and then the results. What other these are die that will get added to their die pool, and then I think the star means they add a randomly drawn enemy tactics marker to the tactics track. So they'll have another one of these at the start of their next activation. Okay, so that's simple enough, and now we move on to their actual combat role. And we'll just start with over here. This token gives them a focus and a crit die. Put that in the pool. And then they have kind of might be hard to see, but the remainder of they have these 3 guys. Just add 3 white die. This guy I should have. Well, he's probably my next target. Is a white and a purple. That might have been a tactical error also on my part, because a white and purple is not good. That might have been stupid of me to not go after that guy actually, but whatever. And then this guy gives a white. This guy gives just a white die. But that's still a decent amount of die. Oh, and then of course they also just get the standard 2 purple die, or 2 focus. And so that's 4 focus dice. Focus dice, in a sense, are the most. Well, in a sense, well, I don't want to say the most powerful die. It's really kind of hard probably to understand if you want more white die or more purple die. But regardless, we'll roll. And we'll say that's a 5. Oh my goodness. Okay. So this might actually be okay. Well, maybe I don't want to speak too soon here. Okay. So yeah, this is not too bad. Something you might be wondering, which I haven't explained yet, is who are they targeting? And what's kind of novel about this system is that to keep things moving smoothly, they're kind of attacking everyone at once. And ultimately the targets are based on the number of the die, the hits that the number are coming from. So, for example, we have 1 here. 1 represents our squad leader, and they did 1 plus 2, so a total of 3 hits to the squad leader, the professor. Now, unfortunately for the professor, he was the one Marine not in hardcover, so he did have 2 soft cover tokens to absorb 2 of the 3 hits, but will end up taking then 1 wound, and it's not, well, 1 damage I think is what it's called. So that's for the 1 die. The 3 is the infantryman, and he only takes 1 hit, and he's in hardcover, and I'm 99% sure I'm 99% sure hardcover is factored in first, so you don't lose your soft cover until you pass hardcover. I do want to double check this though, because I think it's However, before applying hits, it's necessary to account for the effects of hard and soft cover. Okay. See next page. Hardcover is always applied first. Okay, it's in bold, by the way. That's what I was looking for. So, he doesn't even lose any of his soft cover. And then 4 was the Scout again. Jeez. But even though he did lose his soft cover, he's in hardcover, which then thankfully absorbs the 1 hit that he would take. And what worked out for us here is the VC rolled 3 purple 5s, which do nothing. Purple matches to themselves don't mean anything. If they had rolled a yellow 5, that would have actually been a total of 6 additional hits. 6 hits. So 3 purple 5s could have been very painful if the other white and yellow dice worked out. Or 1 white 5 would have been 3 hits. 2 white 5s would have been 6 hits. So this could have been dangerous, but thankfully it turned out to be nothing. So we resolved the damage for the Marines, and then it goes to initiative. Move the initiative marker to the Marine side by the number indicated on the enemy combat counter. Shuffle the combat marker back into the draw pile. Okay, so this combat counter says it was 5 initiative. So we move this back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to our side. And now it's back to the Marines activation, since it's now back on the green side. And that means we will get to go again. So this time, part of me really wants to go for see if I can take out that more, it's like an RPD, I want to say. It's like their version of a machine gunner, essentially. And the 2, see, 2's at the way back, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So he's within. So if I wanted to attack with 2, this is where they give you this little rule finder thing to kind of, gosh, too much stuff. I'm thinking it crosses potentially 2 different tokens, this one and that one, which would normally mean a penalty of -2 purple die. However, a lot of weapons have this symbol, like aimed, like an aim symbol, essentially. And if you use the aiming symbol attack, I want to say you ignore at least 1 line of sight. Aim shot, yeah. So I'm just going to try to quick find aim shot. So aim shot, add 1 focus die to the test and ignore 1 line of sight penalty. Oh, see, that's where positioning messed me up a little bit. And I maybe didn't want to have my sniper behind a bunch of guys blocking his vision. Because if I don't use him, this guy's name? The M16. The M16 is still a decent gun. It's just not as. I could also just go with the engineer who has their grenade launcher, and the grenade launcher ignores all line of sight penalties, and he's located here. But the problem is, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. He can shoot up to 4-way, but then at 4-way, he's actually minusing a purple or focus die, so that wouldn't probably be a very effective. Like I could just move him up and put him in a dangerous spot, but man, this is actually a little frustrating that I didn't maybe plan this out better than because these single white die, like killing a single white die guy, this doesn't seem very useful. But right now, that's kind of all I really have the ability to do. And got 1, 2, 3. Because burst, I think burst is. I just one more thing I need to double check to make sure burst is only adjacent people in the same row. Because obviously there's people that are adjacent. Front and back, but I'm pretty sure burst is just side to side. Well, we will just go ahead and we're just going to let the core man shoot this guy. Okay. So the core man, he will use the second row of his attack, which is the aimed shot. And he has a base of 2 purple for the attack, but because it's range 1, that adds an additional purple or focus die. And then to that, he adds 4 white die. Oh, and then since it's an aim shot, it's another purple die. And then 1 crit die, 1 yellow crit. Okay, so still a decent, a lot of purple die. Okay, so I got excited there for no reason. Like similar to what the enemy did. Well, I have a pair of 1. So these purple dice do me nothing. I have 1 hit here, and then 1 here, and then so it's 3, 4. So 4. Only 4 hits. Ugh. his card, the M16, does allow you to remove one soft cover. So I'll go ahead and do that and take out one soft cover. They still have one underneath. So then we apply the so the 4 hits. One is soaked up by the hard cover. One removes his second soft cover, and then the other 2 go straight to his health, which unfortunately keeps him alive. Would also, so you could try to stack activations depending on how you manage your initiative track. And because I did that aimed fire, that's an additional. So the regular attack would have just been 4 initiative, 1, 2, 3, 4. But because I did an aimed attack, it's an additional 1 initiative, pushing it now to the VC side. So he now flips over to show he's activated, and it's the VC's turn. And we rinse and repeat, starting with their tactic token, which this time says Fubar, and just +1. I don't know if that's actually a good thing or bad thing. So let me quick see if I can find the reference for what that means. No effect except this activation costs the enemy +1 initiative. So this was actually a good one for us. Okay, so then we move on to their combat marker. It does sound like these are supposed to be reused. I'm just going to keep them in a stack for this, for the sake of simplicity. This is just 5 initiative, and then they get a purple and yellow added to the die pool. So I'll just get that ready there. And then we'll add in the rest, which essentially is exactly what they had the last time. So 3. So 1, 2, 3 white for these guys, a 4th white for that guy, then 5, 6. And then also an additional purple for him. And then the standard 2 purple that they get. This it always seems scary rolling all these die, not knowing where they're going to end up. All right, so ooh, a lot of 3s. Ooh, this is what I'm talking about, or what I was talking about last time. So yeah, this is going to be painful for one of our guys here. All right, we'll start with 2. 2 is Paparazzi, the radio operator. He's taking 2 damage, and he is way back here, so his hard cover absorbs 1 hit, then he does lose his soft cover for the second hit. So he's still unscathed. Next, we move to 3. 3's taking 6 hits. Each white die matches with 3 purples for 1 hit each, so that's a total of 6. And that's Wonder, our infantryman, who's right up in front. He does have hard cover in both of his soft cover, but those soft cover go away, and the hard cover absorbs 1, the soft cover goes away, so he still has to take 3 right on the nose. And not ideal by any means, but oh yeah, that's why he was the pitcher, which Force says he's supposed to use a flurry grenade at the start of a setup. That's why I had him with that grenade. I forget that these guys have these abilities at the bottom of their Oh, and I already made a mistake. Oh my gosh. So he has this ability, says if using the M14, The aim shot does not cost an additional initiative. So it would actually have still been in the green area. And that means we would have had a second activation to probably eliminate him, although that seems kind of like a waste of an attack to eliminate someone with 1 health. But, oh, okay, so I don't want to go back at this point and read, we've done all this, but okay, so 3 took his health, 4 would take a damage, and he's in hard cover, so in fact, no damage for him, and then there's no damage going to 5. 5 doesn't have any matches, and 6 has nothing, so nothing to worry about for 5 and 6. So that's the enemies. And then it was 5 for the token plus 1 because of Fubar, so they're going up 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think what I am going to do is give myself that initiative now that I should have given myself back when I activated. So just to kind of make up for that, because I really knew this was going to come. That ability was going to come in handy, and it did, and I just completely forgot about it. So it's back to the Marine activation, and yeah, Micah, if you're still watching, I just saw your comment. It is really interesting. I don't really know another game like this, so that's why I backed it when it was a couple years ago when it started crowdfunding. But I really appreciate how a lot of the rules make a lot of sense thematically, which is part of the reason why I also enjoy this game. Okay, so back to me. Like I said, it seems like a waste to spend an attack to take out one guy, but by doing that, I'm permanently adding 1 initiative to their turns, and it's 1 less die that they're rolling in an attack. So just doing superficial damage to another guy and not killing someone else also is kind of worthless, so I feel like I have to go for the kill here. And with that said, I'm thinking of using God, I don't know why I put number 2 way back there, radio operator. But anyway, all right. So and now I'm really messing everyone up here. So actually, it was this guy that did the aimed attack. Oh, okay, I'm pushing this back. It was this guy that did the aimed attack. He doesn't have the ability that I was saying Paparazzi has. But I'm still dumb for putting Paparazzi, I guess, at the back, being blocked by his own Marines. That was still a mistake. So, okay, going back then to who I want to have shoot. I still don't think it makes sense for Paparazzi to shoot yet. He theoretically could do a shot. I think. Let's see here. Oh. So according to the rules, you go pip to pip. I'm not actually seeing this touch anything. Well, it's super close. Sorry, guys. It's super close to this one, and I think the rules say if it's close, count it. Or I could just have 4 shoot. Okay. Well, I'm just going to have 4 shoot and the scout. And I'm just going to have him do a regular attack. I don't think he needs to do anything special, so that means he's going to get he's going to get Oh wait, the scout does okay. So his ability is may move one space, but I don't want to. Oh, geez, this is why I'm really obviously struggling here, guys, trying to make the optimal move. Um, because his ability is may move one space for 0 prior to activation in combat. But then I'm still trying to have him attack that guy, so I don't know if it makes sense for me to. Oh yeah, Micah. Sorry, I'm just um, seeing your comment. And this is I'll explain more of the game for everyone that didn't catch part one of this. I didn't really go into detail uh, as to what unless you watch part one, you might I haven't really explained what's going on in this game. So just real quick, this game is called Purple Haze. It's by Phalanx Games, and this is a campaign game where it can be played co-op or solitaire, and you're always playing with a squad of 6 Marines in the Vietnam War, 6 U.S. Marines in the Vietnam War. Each Marine is a different they're all different specialists. You have an engineer, a scout, an infantryman, a radio operator, squad leader, and corpsman. You're always going to have those 6 specialists. There's 30 different Marines that come with the game, so you have a lot of mix and match variety of which Marine is which specialist, and some are definitely better together than others based on what each Marine is good at, because each Marine then has their own unique um, attributes, which include their health. And in this game, there's both like mental health and physical health, which I thought was thematic. Where you might have a soldier that's physically has no bullets on them, but due to all the trauma that one deals with in Vietnam, I can only imagine. I haven't obviously wasn't there, but like some of these soldiers are gonna suffer mentally, and so they simulate that in this game as well by having then this kind of mental damage that soldiers can take too. Um, and then in addition to those traits, there's 5 skill traits, because you will be doing skill checks in this game, which so this definitely has a lot of pays a lot of homage to traditional RPG, where as you're going through a game, you're going to be reading through this mission booklet, and reading paragraphs from the mission booklet, and some of those paragraphs are going to say test perception, test survivability, test charisma, and sometimes the mission booklet will let you choose who gets to do that test. Sometimes it's randomly chosen. Sometimes might specify specifically which person maybe has to take that test. So you're doing those skill checks when you're moving kind of around the big map here, and which with your squad token, which is represented by this miniature. And then eventually you're going to stumble across some combat, which is what's going on right now. But definitely a big part of the game is just more of this adventure map. Even though, I call it an adventure map, but it's representing Vietnam. And on the map, you can see that there's different points of interest tokens, essentially. The one that I'm on now was this one. It was an event token. I flipped it over. It was a 3, and that then corresponds with a paragraph check. Basically, I think there was a sound near a tree or something, and we decided to investigate it further, and then all of a sudden we see some VC coming up, and I had the choice, I think, to fight them or not fight them, and I decided, let's hunker down and fight them, and that's what led us to this combat. So that said, there's obviously these are event tokens that are going to have some other type of paragraph check, And this is the base, and the goal of this mission, by the way, is simply to get to this base token. That's the primary objective that's listed in the mission booklet. So it's actually, in this mission, it's very straightforward. Just return to the base, and then when you reach the base, end. But there's also this secondary objective that says find and investigate the crash site of the other Huey to find out what happened to its crew and passengers. Because at the start of this mission, there was this paragraph check, or this paragraph that you read to kind of set up what's going on, and basically your helicopter crashed, and that's why you're trying to get back to your base. So hopefully that kind of gives you a high level overview of what's going on in the game. Covered mostly everything that one needs to know to understand exactly what goes on here. And there's leveling up. So that's like in a traditional RPG and in an RPG campaign style game, things level up. So these are all level 1 specialists, but as the game goes on, I think you can get up to level 4, and as they level up, they're going to have more abilities. These specialization cards are going to give them more things that they have access to do, and they're going to be stronger and that sort of thing. And then there's also a variety of other weapons you can use in the game besides the ones that are being used in this specific mission. So basically a lot of replayability. In terms of where to buy this game, I do think it's going to be I think it is retail available. Like, maybe not every small friendly local game store is going to have a copy of this game, but I want to say it's on Miniature Market. I haven't checked recently. Obviously, you could probably go straight to the publisher, Phalanx Games, and check their website, since it only has been shipping out to backers of the original crowdfunding campaign recently. I don't want to promise a lot of availability of the game right now, but Phalanx Games is a relatively established publisher, so I have faith that if they were to have sold out, that they would reprint this game. I think it's from what I've seen, a lot of people are already holding this game in high regard, and I can see why. It's I haven't obviously finished even a single mission yet, but I'm really liking what I've been experiencing so far. Thanks for all the questions, Micah. Okay, so back to the combat here. I decided that I think I was going to use the scout to attack with his M4. Yeah. And he's going to attack that guy. So with that said, he's going to roll the basic 2 purple die for a combat check, and then also an additional purple because of the range, and then also 4 white, and then 1 yellow. And I'm not going to use a initiative to spend an extra initiative for him to do an aimed attack, because I'd like to think it's not going to be necessary here, because I literally only need 2 hits out of all these die. So if the geek can't do that, then I guess I will eat my own words here. So wow, okay. So this was very close, but yeah, okay. So the 1 doesn't match with anything. A crit on its own doesn't do anything. A 4 on its own doesn't do anything. The 2 6s, again, since they're purple, don't do anything. The 3 5s account for 2 hits, which is literally what we needed, because this VC was in hardcover, so 1 hit is absorbed by the hardcover, but then he only had 1 health point left. So it was just enough to eliminate him. I guess I made the right choice then at the end of the day. So that counted for 4 initiative. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And now, since I do flip over Geek to show that he's gone. And now, since it's still on the green side, this is the first time I'll have the ability to take back-to-back turns which is going to be kind of fun here to do. So with that said, how do I want to maximize my damage output, which makes me think I should really try out my grenade launcher, and try to target these back two guys. But the problem is that this guy's blocking, so there would be a -1. Yeah, -1 penalty there. Which just really scares me, because then he's only using one purple die, and that's not good. I think you generally want to have at least 2 purple die. And then with my one obviously hasn't gone, which is the professor, my squad leader. He has the M16 rifle. And I feel I almost want him to just move closer. I mean, he has no... I think it makes sense for him to move closer. So I'm going to actually use... This is the first move I'm doing. I think moving diagonally is fine in this game. And the initiative cost is 1 per space entered. So he's going to have to spend 1 initiative, which is fine. Even if it went in the red, it's still my turn. And it's going to go in the red anyway after shooting. So I don't really care that I spent an initiative to do that. And now I think I'm going to have him attack now that he's closer with his M16. Of course, the question becomes, do I go for... Well, yeah, I'm definitely going for that one. Okay, I think I'm going to go all out 2 on this attack. I'm going to really try to take him out. And therefore, because I'm doing that... Well, I shouldn't... Yeah, I'm going to go all out, which means I'm going to spend an ammo clip here to do the top row, which is like full auto. Even though it's generally probably best to do it when there's adjacent enemies, I'm just really wanting to take out this strong unit from the VC side. So he's going to get 3 purple die. 2 for the standard attack, and then an additional purple because he's within... I'll show this up close. So the enemy's only 2 rows away, so he does get a purple die. And he would get that burst symbol, but again, the enemy's not adjacent to anyone, so it doesn't matter. It will cost me 5 initiative. We'll worry about that later. But then I get 6 white die and 2 yellow. And that's saying that I will have to expend my ammo clip, which I did. So then I'll add the 6 white as well as the 2 yellow to the die pool. And let's hope for some matches. I do automatically get to remove 1 of the soft cover tokens as well. Gosh. It's crazy how... Oh, okay. Huh. So we'll go through this. I have 2 hits here, nothing here. 3 more hits here, so 5. 2 more hits here for 7. Okay. So I think that's 7 hits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And Okay. Also, I'm just sorry. The pause that I was having there is because I'm ignoring his ability, which says prior to first order, move up to 2 Marines, including the squad leader, in any order to an adjacent space. If unactivated, this does not activate them. Um, well, I did, so I could have actually done that movement for free and then moved one other person, one other Marine. And I've been debating like moving up my other guys this whole time to get them in better position. But having them in hard cover is nice. But getting my engineer closer for his grenade launcher, I think is going to be a good move for me. But yeah, at the same time, doing it now probably is kind of pointless. So unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, I will say I'm going to have set up the positioning ability for my squad leader themselves. So that means I actually didn't have to spend that initiative to move him up. Um, so yeah, that's still helpful. Okay, back to the damage though. I did 7 total hits of damage, and yeah. So I know. I mean, Phalanx Games is I want to say based in the UK, Micah, and I don't know where you're physically located, but their games definitely. I mean, I'm in the US, so in their games definitely seem. Um, I see them in stores, so I know that they have some. They definitely have distribution here in the U.S. Um, I thought I remember seeing. Yeah, I guess I was wrong about them being available on Miniature Market. So I apologize for that. I can definitely reply to your comment then and ask the publisher themselves where the best place to get this game is right now, because they've been very responsive to my rules questions on Board Game Geek, so I'm sure they'd be happy to clarify the best place to get the game. Maybe it's still their website, and there is, like you said, since they're taking pre-orders, that maybe they are currently sold out and they're waiting on the next print run of the game. Um, so I can come look into that. Uh, okay, so what was I saying here? Oh yeah, we did the leader. We moved him up. He did his 7 points of damage. All right, let's resolve the 7 points of damage. So the M16 rifle does have the ability here that says if basically if I was shooting from range 1 or 2, which I was, I can remove a soft cover automatically. So I'll take care of that first. Dang it. However, then the hardcover will take up the first of the 7 hits, and then the next two, oh my gosh, the next two are absorbed by the other 2 soft cover tokens, meaning he takes 4 hits, which unfortunately is still just one shy of eliminating him. That's just like the last guy, one shy. So that's that, because now I have to move the initiative token 5 back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's the enemy's turn to go. This time they don't have any of these tokens to resolve, so we go straight to the combat token. and we get, this is going to cost them 6 initiative, but they get 1 purple and 2 yellow from this token, which is pretty nasty. And that chevron symbol, the chevron symbol, I saw it. I already forgot what it meant. Move any enemy marker in a space without hardcover to an empty space with hardcover. If multiple options, move a specialist enemy first, then a fighter with fewest hit points remaining. All right, well, that's how enemies essentially move in this game, are through that token. And it's thematic, like they're trying to position themselves in hard cover, which now immediately is making move any in a space to an empty space with hard cover. Okay, so specialists first. So the one specialist they have here is in hardcover, so that's not going to move. Yeah, they don't have any other specialists. Not in hardcover. I'm going to set myself up for success. So, because then it said the one with the least health, which would be this guy. So he's going to then go here. Now there's obviously oh, sorry, I didn't show this. So what I was saying is this guy's the one specialist on the board for the VC, and he's already in hardcover. So then these are 3 guys not in hardcover, and the rules say you take the weakest one, which I'm going to say is then, well, the lowest health one, which is this one. And I'm going to put him there. Now that seems a little gamey because I'm obviously putting him there for strategic purposes. I'm going to assume the rules let you decide where they go with that. I'm trying to quickly now, as always, I'm trying to quickly figure out if I'm right on this. But I'm going to say yeah, I'm going to say you get to decide. So we're going to leave it like that. All right, so that was what their combat token says to do. And now we add up the rest of the die in their die pool. So 1 white plus 1 white plus 1 white plus 1 white plus 1 white, and then another purple. So these are all the die they're getting. And let's see how much damage they do to me. Oh gosh. Okay. Once again, I think this could have been worse. So we have 3 damage going to 1. 1 is... Oh, the squad. Oh, geez. So 3 damage going to 1. He's out in the open right now, taken in front of his soldiers, but he's taking a beating for it. So that's 3 more damage for him. So he's at 4 points of damage so far. Once you meet the threshold, by the way, which is 7 for him at least, you take one of these wound cards. A wound card can be minor, deep, critical, or there is a KIA wound. So I really love that part of this game too. That when you get a wound, you don't. It's not necessarily a bad wound, but it also could kill you. So you don't really want to ever meet your threshold. um, but it's also not could also not be the worst thing in the world. But then, depending on the level or severity of the wound, you're gonna have other negative impacts that are gonna affect that Marine for the rest of the game. Anyway, so he's at 4 damage now. So now we go to 2, Marine number 2, which is gonna take 2 hits, which is Paparazzi. And Paparazzi is in hard cover, which blocks 1 hit, but then he's gonna take on the remaining damage, unfortunately. So he's now got a damage token. 3 nothing happens, 4 nothing happens, 5 nothing happens actually. So overall, it wasn't that bad of a round damage wise for the Marines. All right, so I can't really complain. But now it's back to, oh wait, so let's add up the initiative. So it was 6 from the token plus now 1 more because of the casualties they've incurred, which is 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which I don't think is going to matter too much because on my turn, oh crap, yes, yep, bringing in, getting a little aggressive here by moving up my engineer. But my engineer has that, so his first order is going to be that movement, which does cost him 1 point of initiative. Better yet, his ability says, Sprinter, if you take a move order, the first space you enter costs 0 initiative. So in fact, no initiative for him either is spent for moving. And now we're going to whip out the grenade launcher. And I'm excited about this. Okay, so for the grenade launcher, it's 5 initiative, 7 white, 2 yellow. It does have to use one of the grenade launcher ammo tokens. But at 2 range, it adds, which is going to be the case here, at 2 range, it gets a purple die and burst effect. And as it says here, it removes 2, you remove 2 soft cover, and you ignore out line of sight penalties, which I don't even think there was going to be any in this attack. Anyway, so we're going to do all of what I just said. We add the basic 2 purple die to start. We then add 7 white die as listed on the weapon card. We had the 2 crit dies listed as the weapon card, and then the additional purple focus dies listed on the weapons card. And now we're going to roll and hope for some great results. Great results, please. All right, so matching purples. Never fun. Never fun. Did I really only have... Yeah, I guess I only had 3 purples. Dang it. Dang it. But, okay. It's still not too bad. So we have nothing from the 1s, nothing from 2, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage from the 3, then 7, 8, 9 from the 4. So 9 total damage. I mean, honestly, it's, I don't know, I feel like it could have been better. I'll take up the 1 point of ammo he used for that attack. And then we remove 2 soft cover. Yep. And that only applies to the target of the attack, which was that center VC. And then we start dealing out the damage. And you can't deal more damage to neighboring enemies than the main target. So you can't cheese the system. Let's say this guy only had 1 health, but was clear of line of sight, and this guy had like 10 health, you can't just like oh, I'm going to target that guy but deal all the damage to the guy next to him instead, like, which I think is a very reasonable rule, or I just think that rule makes a lot of sense. Okay, so with that said, let's start narrowing down this. So 9 total damage. So 8, 7, and then getting rid of this die puts me down to 4 more damage I have to deal out, eliminating him, and then with the remaining 4, 1 goes to the hardcover here, 1 takes out that die and puts it over here, and then I have 2 left, which will take out 2 of the soft token counters, soft cover tokens under that guy. So I mean, it was still a fairly powerful attack. I eliminated 2 bad guys, and that attack did 5 points of initiative. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it will be the VC's turn. However, this is the first instance we have of this. If 50%, if greater than 50% of the starting enemies are eliminated, which now we have 4 eliminations and only 3 remaining, so that is the case. Check once for enemy retreat on the next enemy activation. So I do have to flip him over to show he's activated. But we're going to do the retreat check. And I do need to quick look up how that works for the VC. I'm blanking on exactly how that is resolved. Apologize. This shouldn't take too long to figure out. Check for enemy retreat. After you place an eliminated enemy on the eliminated check to see if more than half, blah, blah. So immediately before the next roll, 1d6. If the roll is higher than the number of remaining enemy fighters and specialists on the combat board, the remaining enemies retreat. Okay, so basically I'm rolling, if I roll a 4, 5, or 6, they're going to retreat. And it's not, it's a 2. So they continue to fight. It is what it is, so we just go to their combat token, which is this, a purple and 2 yellow, and then they get a I'm forgetting what, a tactic token I think is what it's called. So a purple, 2 yellow. Okay, and then in addition to those die, they get just 3 more white die. So their attack now is definitely a lot less threatening. I didn't want to see 1s. Great. So it's unfortunate that, I mean, the yellow dice, and it's two total damage going straight to the squad leader. Woof. So he's now going to be at 6 damage, just 1 more damage, and he's going to be taking a wound card. Now, coincidentally, I did equip him with this flak jacket, and the flak jacket has an ability that says, basically, if I'm drawing if I ever have to draw a wound card, I actually get to draw 2 wound cards instead, and then I take the weaker, the less negative of the wound cards, which could be very huge if like I drew a KI, killed an action card and then anything else, then at least he's not going to die. Although honestly, it's hard for me to really, at least maybe in the first mission if it really matters. Like I guess if your soldiers leveled up, you're not going to want them to die in the first mission though. It's hard for me to really understand the negative impact of a Marine dying. If you have too many Marines die, then you just lose the mission, I guess. But I digress with that. So we now move the initiative for the enemy, which is +2 to their. So that was 7 total. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's back to me. And I think the best thing that I can do is, because the one soldier I have that hasn't activated is 2. I'm going to have him just 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh yeah, he doesn't even have to move. So he's going to do an aim shot from where he is. 1, 2, 3, 4. At that unit. Yep. Aim shot from there. Because he... So he starts normal with 2 die. Because of the fact this Marine's blocking his line of sight to the enemy VC, I would normally then lose a I do lose a focus die. But, no, wait, I take that back. Yeah, sorry, I do have to lose one. However, the weapon range is 4, which adds a purple die back. And then I'm going to have him do an aimed attack, which adds a purple die too. Oh, shoot. And ignores the line of sight. So he actually has 4 purple die because of all this. Because of using the aimed attack. Forget that. It's not only you add a purple, but you also ignore 1 line of sight penalty. So that's a really nice benefit when you're using that aimed attack option. Okay, so that's 4 purple die, and then the rest is 4 white die and 2 yellow crit die. And I also if I'm doing the aimed attack, it says I remove 2 soft cover. So I literally just need 4 successes here. And that VC is gone. So let's hope I can make that happen. And oh my gosh. I can never get a good roll, it seems. Yikes, this is horrible, honestly. So nothing for 1, nothing for 2, nothing for 3, 1 for 4, 1 for 5. So literally, so the soft cover goes away, but then only 2 damage technically is all that's done. Well, that's the end of his turn. Normally it would be 5 initiative that would be lost with that because of the aimed attack, but he has that ability which does not cost an additional initiative, so it only goes down to 1. Okay, so what happens now? We have all of our Marines have activated, but it's still our activation, so we have to reference the rulebook as what happens next, because basically the combat, I think, is over. I just need to double check. After resolving each Marine or enemy activation, check if the combat has ended. This happens when it's the Marine's activation and 3... Okay, that's not it. It's the Marine's activation and all 6 Marines have activated, which is the case. So we go to end of combat, check load capacity. If any Marine took a wound card, check their capacity. Not an issue right now. Reduce the threat, gain experience, and draw wound cards. At the end of combat, unless the mission has been ended as a result of the combat, take the following steps. reduced the threat to 1. So it actually wasn't that high to even begin with, but we do that. Experience. If more than half the enemy fighters and specialists that started the combat were eliminated or they retreated, every Marine receives 1 I need to look the iconography chart. I think it's like experience point, but not technically. That's not the right term. It is experience point. Okay, so every Marine receives an experience point. There is like a little pad of paper the game comes with for tracking these things. I'm not going to pull it out right now. So, but just for reference, every Marine got an experience point, and then if more than half the enemies that started the combat were eliminated or they retreated, draw 1 boon card, which I believe then is this deck of cards. And if it says if all the enemies were eliminated, draw 2 boon cards, which unfortunately we weren't able to do that. But then it says continue the mission. The final step is clean up, remove all markers from the combat board, and place enemy markers back in their relevant piles, bags, draw cups. And now you can now continue to resolve the event or continue the mission as directed. So I'm going to go back to the mission booklet to see if there was some sort of resolution to what we just went through. Okay, so we did the combat. The only thing that it mentions then is that we are supposed to take a note that says, let's just take cover, which means there could be a future paragraph or combat or something that will reference take cover, and we will have had occurred because of this, because we completed this combat. But otherwise it just says continue the mission. So with that said, I'm going to conclude this session here. I think it's actually a pretty nice spot to end for now, and pick this up again soon, because I probably do need to refresh myself on a few other rule things, because the next thing I think I need to do is actually the resting action, is what I'm going to call it, because I have 0 stamina left, and time is, I mean, I don't really understand the timing mechanism in the game in terms of how long you really can mess around before the, I guess it's until you lose all your Marines. I mean, now you can understand that if we do fight another combat, I have less ammo. I mean, now a lot of my Marines now have damage tokens on them, so I might want to patch up the Professor during the rest action. But anyway, we'll get to that in the next playthrough session. So definitely, if you haven't already, please check out the Linktree QR code here. Check and look at all of our social media platforms that we are active on, and definitely like and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you get notified the next time we go live for any game that we play. And then, of course, check out other videos we do. But with that said, thank you so much for those that watch this video. Really appreciate your time and attention, and look forward to continuing the mission Crash here with Purple Haze in the near future. Hope you guys have a great rest of your evening, and Happy New Year to everyone. January 1st. Hope everyone had a great January 1st. So, thanks everyone. See you guys again soon.